This is username King Egbert, former expert power ranker and now do-nothing college student, pre-med at the College of William and Mary. Go Tribe! As I haven't been getting my 5+ hour a day fix of Civ Battle Royale ever since I retired from the panel, I've been jonesing to participate in the community a tad bit more, and my dealer, the one true god-based TPang, bestowed upon me the absolute honor to narrate for y'all. If you're interested in participating in a near 7,000 Redditor community of country boards, speculation, discussion, and hype bandwagons, come over and join us at r/Civ Battle Royale, and don't forget to flare up. As per usual, username CylonL has updated a gorgeous colored map of the world as of the end of Part 8. For those that don't know, username Pilgrim, with a Y, has been giving high-quality series of analyses concerning the unclaimed hotspots of the world to date. Just one more feature highlighting the amazing community at r/Civ Battle Royale. Seriously, join us, or we'll come get you. We love you. We start out this chapter in the Arctic winds of the north, where the Inuit contemplate sending another settler to reach a desolate copper mine currently staked out by exiled Mexican and American outlaws. What horrible crimes they committed to deserve such a fate is beyond anyone's imagination. Meanwhile, several tiles south, a Mexican scout is stubbornly blocking the icy isthmus adjacent to Ukusiksalik, providing a crafty lookout point if the Inuit ever decide to put units in that general area and neglect expansion, i.e. they are joining the outlaw brethren shortly. In this slide, we can see the embarkation of 2 settlers, one Inuit and one Blackfoot. Does this mean a race to colonize the taiga of Asia? Which American civ will be the first to announce their ambitions toward Kamchaktifest's destiny? Greetings and aloha to the sandy beaches of Hawaii. Despite starting off with ocean embarkation, Kamehameha still managed to let Australia forward settle their proverbial backyard. Meanwhile, what sort of a joke for a city name is Townsville? It sounds like a default fake name for city skylines if you accidentally save your game untitled. Townsville, Cityopolis, Hamletsburg. Note from TPang: have you ever seen the Powerpuff Girls? In Central America, we see the extremely solid Texan Navy, which could absolutely wipe out the Bucks if they are the first to caravels. Of course, that would require the AI to have a formidable Navy tactical prowess, which is lols-inducing to any expert Civ player. Meanwhile, the Mayan army looks to be extremely out of date, and Mexico seems to be building up an army of catapults and bowmen despite the fact that you need melee units to take out cities. Korea's clutch on Guangzhou remains solid, and as always there are Israeli spies watching, keeping notes. Also in this picture, confirmation of China's acquisition of Shanghai, as predicted on r/Civ Battle Royale when crafty detectives took to the minimaps of the last update. Oh boy, Filipino Gallia status spotted. Does this make up for the fact that they literally have an army of scouts, warriors and archers? Probably not, but not many civs have seemed to reach compass yet, so it is exciting nonetheless. On the African front, the Boers have decided to ignore the Zulus led by Oblomov Shaka and turn their sights northerly the past few updates. Due to the geography of Africa, Ethiopia cannot seem to direct their full forces into the heart of Kruger. Meanwhile, Kruger attacks Lalibela, home to Mount Kilimanjaro and home to many a dead leopard prowling to its summit at unfathomable altitudes. That was supposed to be a Hemingway reference, but I fucked up. You can tell I'm much more fit to be a science major. Mongolia graciously accepts Shaoshan as tribute from the Chinese, who honestly had no business settling there in the first place. While this may seem like a non-controversy, it seems Sibir was eyeing the land as well, and declares war on their warmongering Khanate kin. An amazing development, let's name it War of the Sarais, due to Old and New Sarais' proximity to each other. The likely winner of this war, whoever gets Yakusha to align with them first. Sparta inches ever so closer to Cumae, but while weakened, the Romans have both of their UUs at their disposal, defending the hotly contested city. Leonidas seems to be the first ruler to have a veritable army of pikemen rather than spearmen. For those that missed it the last update, Orisham, Sicily and Funchal, Corsica were firmly established as Portuguese colonies as they were taken from the clutches of Augustus. in a dynamite wave of power from Maria's strong navy. Who cannot wait for Morocco-Portugal naval war? Should be epic in the real non-meme sense of the word. Australia is still kinda just chillin'. With only 2 civs on the entire subcontinent, it is no wonder how Kimberley and Australia are perennial favourites by the community at large and the power rankers. And what's with Australian city names? First Townsville, now Sunshine Coast? Sounds like the name of a 2-foot deep kiddie pool in a water park. For those who were paying attention to the announcements atop the screen in the past few slides, you'd have noticed the Ashanti Wars are where most of the action is taking place this update. First, Osei-Tutu nabbed Atebubu from the Congo, but now in a most surprising update, Morocco has put its great lighthouse to use and proven the might of its navy by taking out an enemy capital! It says here capital in caps, you know. Note how I did not say snipe, because that is not the correct usage of the word snipe. Sniping is when another civ does the majority of the work for you, and you come in with basically 1 unit when the city is defenseless and take it all for yourself. Morocco did this single-handedly. Know your civ lingo. Like Weird Al, I hate them. The mighty Timurid army located above the dangerous forces of Afghanistan and below the might of the Hunnic carpet of battering rams, which in turn is sandwiched between the strength of the powerful USSR Collective and the formidable Siberian Death Cloud. Persia is here too. With a Champa boat in the way, the Philippines only need 1 trireme around Vagan to hold off the entire Vietnamese navy. Japan and Korea seem to be on the verge of spamming incredible navies of their own right. Swiggity swoody, we're coming for St. Louis. Seems to be the battle cry of the western front of the Icelandic Navy. America could do well to get Canada aligned with them if they care at all for their northeasternmost city, and Canada should be worried as many of their cities are vulnerable to an amphibious assault. The tug of war between the Moroccan Navy and Ashanti Army continues, and the Congo seem to be setting themselves up for a veritable snipe, should they play their cards right. That being said, Osei-Tutu is being hammered from all sides, as even Mali is able to nab Yeji, the fruit of the Ashanti assault on Carthage many years ago. In a move no one will likely care about, the Tibetans and Huns are now at war. Something tells me this won't mean a thing. Since there is not much of note in this slide, let us take in the beauty that is Lars's defense stats. 28 shields, plus a near impossible to traverse labyrinth of mountains. That is how you turtle. I'm sorry, I'm really hungry. I have to stop narrating for a bit and food a little. In a move that might actually surmount to something, Tibet has declared war on Burma. Take that, you Buddhist heathens. Anyone that believes there to be a clear winner in this battle is seeing something that I can't, because both armies look pretty timid. Now back to Spartan pikemen versus Roman ballistae. What on paper looks like an easy Spartan victory is proving troublesome, and no, there is no Polish scout this time, just really hard geography to maneuver around. Now the Spartans know what it's like to be on the other side of the Battle of Thermopylae. Not so fun now, roars Darius, even though it was Xerxes who Leonidas fought and he is thousands of miles away, and has fallen back asleep, I see. Armenia is an underdog due to the fact that their UA nerfs them into keeping themselves from attacking anyone in their vicinity, as they only get bonuses against opposite religions. Even more worrisomely, Yevantashad is extremely vulnerable to a naval attack, and the Timurids seem to rule these seas. One would think the USSR have a snow bonus the same as the Inuit with their preference for taiga and tundra, but nope. Which really makes you wonder how Stalin thought Gorky was a good idea. Like, there's only one fish tile and the rest is snow. Meanwhile, the Finnish are happy to be somewhat relevant for at least one slide. Vagan is still contested, and in a ballsy move, the Philippines send only triremes to defend, sending their galleasses out elsewhere. Meanwhile, Armenia and the Huns have declared a stalemate. Clearly, this is so Attila can set his full concentration on the real prize, Tibet. Ah, there is where the galleasses are going, Pangasinan. Nice one, Philippine bros. But do you really think that the expert power rankers #1 pick Australia will give in so easily to you? Half the world away, Hitler has given up on Sparta and Norway, as if he ever had any chance against them anyway. Speaking of the Nazis, here they are. Hitler has no discernible navy, making a Scandinavian invasion a mere pipe dream, and clearly seem to be the bottom dwellers of Europe, on the same level as the Romans. It's only a matter of time until Poland, France or Sparta become serious about German annihilation. Additionally, the French caravan bypasses Germany completely on its way to either Lodz, Cumae or Tegea, which is major lols and pretty much shows the respect France holds for Germany. Speaking of major lols, the Kimberley have bypassed Indonesia for champa. One would think with Indonesia's spices, trade would be majorly profitable for Indonesia, but nope, champa is preferable. Trust me, I love the champayons. Them and the Texans were my two regular civs when I did the power rankings, but I love champa because of how lol-fail they were. From their gold UA, deity AI don't need gold, to the horrible start placement, to the crazy city placement and the horrible war performances. They are like the Don Quixote of the Civ BR, charging at windmills. And here they are being more relevant than Indonesia. How bloody beautiful. At this point, it isn't will Kumasi stay in Ashanti control, but so much as will Morocco or the Congo net the second capital of the game. Not that it matters much, as Kumasi has a population down to none, but it does have access to several resources, making it a promising investment. The Mongolian invasion of Shenzhen has been halted by the Siberian forces, as was very likely Kuchum Khan's strategy all along. The Mongolian army is clearly outmatched on this front. Meanwhile, the Chinese army consists solely of a great merchant. So fierce. And Kumasi goes to Morocco. Congrats, Ahmed. You really made my power rankings look embarrassing. I put you at number 61 initially, and really let the PR group into thinking you deserved it. As I've said earlier, the Moroccan navy is top tier due to the Great Lighthouse, and the Portuguese army is of the same caliber by taking the Mediterranean cities from the Romans. That will be a matchup to watch out for, and their proximity should make it looming on the horizon. Maria heard what I had to say, and to test her mettle declared war on Saladin? Wrong Arabian leader, Maria. In fact, that's pretty racist of you for mixing him up like that. For shame. In her defense, it is slightly more likely that this will surmount to a bit more than Attila's war on Tibet. Kamchatkafest's destiny goes to the Inuit. Congrats, and their city looks like a true keeper with furs, horses, and is that amber? Anyway, better luck next time, Blackfeet. Maybe you can net Easter Island with that settler instead. To the west, one can see Yakusha expand into the proximity. Why have they waited this long? Was basically guaranteed theirs, and now they'll have to fight for it. If they ever wake up. Plenty of campsites make it an absolute goldmine for Yakusha, who has a pantheon and a UA enhancing their deer to mini natural wonders. Watch out, Philippine bros, there seems to be no more monopoly on the galleasses in this war. That being said, Geelong looks like a lost cause with the Philippines army marching their way over. If Indonesia wishes to become relevant, they could throw their triremes into the mix as well. But lol at the idea of them being relevant. The scuffle over Vagan is getting pretty heavy. Are you sure diverting your galleasses wasn't a mistake now, Philippines? Vagan should have succumbed by now due to the military incompetence, but Vietnam decided to be extra incompetent by not sending in any melee units to, you know, actually take the city. On the other half of the world, Mali and Morocco are bonding over the slaughtering of Ashanti women and children. Total besties. The Ashanti make peace with Congo, ultimately securing Atebubu. Without an eastern front to worry about, maybe the entirety of the Ashanti forces will be enough to retake their capital, but as long as they have a deal with Mansa Musa as well, it seems unlikely they can recover from Ahmed's devastating blow. The invasion of Lalibela by the Boers was ultimately a failure, and Kruger decides to retreat and regroup for the time being. Their assault on the Congo is relentless, however, and seems to be cracking at Kakongo's defenses. While a straight shot into Nzinga's capital presents itself, Kruger's swordsmen seem uninterested. Additionally, Bloemfontein has been taken from the Boers at some point during this update. This seems to be negligible. The Congo may have won that battle, but harder times await if they wish to secure the war. Thankfully, I get a break from speaking as TPang decides to net a second screen cap of Hawaii. Phew. Thanks for the breather, TPang. I owe you one. Now let's listen to the beautiful music. The Cham Empire is more formidable than you might have thought, perhaps more so than Burma. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But they have plenty going for themselves, including a 29 shield defense in their capital, which as noted earlier is receiving healthy trade from the Kimberley. Vietnam won't snatch Panduraga with the same ease as the first Viet Cham War, but they are still heavy favorites. Of note, oh my god, Sri Jayawardenapura Kotte, what a name. Take note, Australia, that is a suitable city name for a major empire. Sunshine Coast and Townsville really just make me sick. Note from TPang. TPang does not approve of the narration of this slide. Man, fuck you, TPang. We can do what we want. Wow, maybe the Cham do have a chance against Burma. They do have the technological advantage. The Cham could also take Vijaya back while the Chong sisters are distracted, but instead the pirates of the East decide to, once again, not live up to their namesake. It would be very cute if they won. Also, the Tibet-Burma war seems to have fizzled out into nothingness. Here we get a view of the Mughals, a former powerhouse who now seem to be flirting with obscurity. The Afghanistan generals seem to have taken a page from the How to Fight Wars Good book, perfecting the Mexican strategy of phagocytosis. Shout out to Ben Kakio. Agra seems to be in real trouble right here, and since Texas's UA involved defense around the capital, it seems to be a much more sound strategy in theory just about anywhere else. In an unprecedented move, America is competent at some facet of the game. St. Louis seemed to be dead in the water, but so far nary a scratch has occurred, and instead it is at a healthy population of 4. Sensing the imminent Icelandic threat, Canada is forging a bond with America, proving the adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Although the fans want bad blood between the IRL best bros, Canada knows how dangerous Iceland is. Additionally, Texas seems to be the only civ on eastern North America with swordsmen. On the other half of the world, the Armenians declare war on Timur-Lane. A startling move, the Caspian Sea is dominated by Timurid ships, Armenia shares the Timurids' majority faith, and Yevantashad is vulnerable by an amphibious invasion. And as quickly as Morocco took Kumasi, the Ashanti took it back. This game of back and forth may never end. Morocco would probably do better to concentrate on one city rather than spread out his naval fleet, but I only go for science victories, so what the fuck do I know? Cumae is being held steady by the Romans, holding the theatre to a stalemate. An army of ballistae is being embarked as well. Is a counterattack on the horizon? Messina is well defended, it looks like, so perhaps it is merely to hold back Antium from total devastation. Phagocytosis, more like phagocytosis. Okay, I'll stop. Afghanistan seems to be capitalizing on the Armenian-Timurid war, which likely is the reason why Lahore is defenseless. Counterattack from Samarkand into Kandahar or Kabul seems unlikely due to the mountainous terrain, so this was a pretty safe war for Mirwais Sotak. Time to earn your nickname, the Graveyard of Empires. Remember when we all thought Elizabeth had no chance? Well, that was a long time ago. Now she's turtling just fine and has a population to be envious of. If only Ireland actually capitalized early on, as we all had hoped. But it isn't too late for them, as Elizabeth's army is practically just archers, not even bowmen. Move fast, Maliki. Of note, many Irish swordsmen, which is notable as their UU, the Kern, is a faster longswordsman replacement with extra defense against, you guessed it, ranged units. Here at the Cape of Good Hope, we can see Oblomov Shaka spamming spearmen for ultimately an army of impies to wreak havoc on the land. Kruger isn't the slightest bit worried, but players of the game know better than to leave an open border with the Zulus undefended. but Kruger will likely get away with it for now. The last few islands in the Pacific are being snatched up by whoever can get there first. Here we see one-tile islands hosting cities for the Kimberley, Maori, and Australians. And yes, Mk is just slightly less embarrassing a name than Sunshine Coast or Townsville. Note from TPang, like you can talk, your home country of America has places called Hookersville and Whiskey Dick Mountain. I'm not even joking. The sleeping giant is still sleepy and still giant. I don't think I'm the first person to call them Snorlax, but the name fits them perfectly. Do something. You are bound to win any war you fight. To the northeast, the multinational coalition of spies and scouts huddles together for warmth. The War of the Sarais was just a ruse. It was all along just a race to Shenzhen. Sibir graciously accepts China's offering as tribute. If Siberia ever wants to expand, they only need to look southward, as Lhasa seems rather defenseless, perhaps investing too much energy in the Burmese. Casimir and Elizabeth declare war on Sparta, despite the fact that Hitler is easy pickings. Oh well. Seems like Leonidas has bigger problems now than Kumae, and will have to divert his attention elsewhere. Here you can see the Armenian Great General / Great Prophet hybrid UGP, the Mamikonian. From the Civ 5 customization wikia, mounted units within 2 tiles gain the Nakara promotion, granting them a 33% bonus when attacking cities and allowing them to earn additional gold from plundering cities following a different religion than the first religion founded. I know this slide is probably more so I can concentrate on the bugs, and this may be my Texan fanboy inside of me talking, but whoa doggy, look it up there yonder navy, yeehaw! It's just about bursting with Texan triremes up there. Also, lol at Argentina not defending a city half a continent away, or should I say Argentina? Okay, I swear I'll stop. So now, Vegan is again at 0 hit points, and once again, there are 0 Vietnamese melee units or triremes. Congrats, Cham Archer, you have been the deciding factor in the western front of the Philippine Bro Wars, like the Polish Scout, only at sea. Bonus, I spy with my little eye a Hawaiian composite bowman, 7 lighthouses, a Sibir scout, 5 suns, 4 great generals, and a citrus tree. And the eastern front, Pangasinan is falling to the 6 ships, 2 of which are galleasses the Philippines send out. Can the underdog be plucky on both fronts of the war? Once again, thanks for the breather screen cap, T-Pang. I needed it. Mk is still a dumb name. On to more pressing slides. Now onward to the Middle East. The menorah sigil represents the Israeli UU, the Maccabee, a swordsman replacement with a flanking bonus and a yield of faith whenever it successfully kills a unit. Mecca and Cairo seem to be the only 2 cities following Islam. Mervais Hotag is finding the siege of Lahore more frustrating than anticipated. It was never going to be a cakewalk, since it was surrounded by 4 tiles of mountains. But several turns later and there has been no advancement. Back to the Australian mainland, where I can see... What? Oh, you've got to be... this is not... no, I'm not gonna... fucking Hobart? Gold Coast? I can't believe these are actual city names! Like somebody went ahead and yes, we should call this the city we are currently founding. What? Anyway, Australia's carpet of triremes is pretty OP. If it were anywhere near the Philippine front, then the tides would clearly shift in their favor. But instead, it will just sit here, wasting away. Kakongo is crumbling down, basically at a rate that seems as if Nzinga doesn't even want it anymore, but is willing to let millions die in the siege anyway. Oh AI, never change. On a more exciting note, Krieger is starting to lay siege towards Nzinga's capital. Nzinga responds by declaring war on Portugal. Like I said, AI, never change. The Adriatic wars continue, but with Poland in the mix, it is hard for Sparta to gain ground, and Rome is clearly content with maintaining the status quo. Despite the proximity to several wars, French caravans plough through the area, either bravely or obliviously. St. Louis is looking much worse than the last time we saw it, and seems ready to capitulate itself. This would be the first major invasion of a successfully taking a city from another continent. This only happened once in the Mark I, with Chile taking a Malian city much later in the timeline. And Pangasinan falls to the Philippines. Did you see that coming? The navy around Greater Newcastle seems greater, and the city defense is stronger, almost as if it were a new castle. I can't take it anymore. Australia, please stop with the horrible names. Thanks. Anyway, here's to hoping Townsville gets raised and replaced by a city with a different name. Any name, really. I'll even accept Lesser Newcastle, just nothing with the word coast. You've done that enough already. In case you were wondering, yes, Texas is still not to be messed with. Over half their cities are capital quality, and they have the strongest navy in the hemisphere, even if their melee units aren't quite up to snuff. The Sioux, similarly, are a powerhouse. One can see 8 pikemen in this screen cap alone, and in addition too many bowmen to count. As for Lincoln, he is truly lucky he buddied up with Canada. Here, the Blackfoot have shown to power out a navy at the expense of possibly too little melee units. Will that come back to haunt them? As of right now, they are wide open for a Sioux invasion, with only an army of workers guarding Ahapitape, and a similarly little around Medewan Canton 1. Arabia seems to be doing well in their little theatre, where Baghdad is under a lot of pressure from Arabian swordsmen. Their army is winning their share of the battles, but the Arabian navy is getting annihilated. Darius decides to defend Baghdad by embarking his entire army into the Persian Gulf. Report back to us on how that works out, Darius. Seems like a surefire winner. And our final slide shows the Icelandic navy victorious against Lincoln. Or should I say, Reykjavictorious? Or maybe #Reykjavik? This has clearly been the update of the Underdog. Rome, Iceland, the Philippines, Arabia and Morocco all making significant militaristic advantages against powerhouses such as Vietnam, Australia and Sparta. And as always, we end with the data slides. Texas is comfortably number 1, with the Y being the surprise of the bunch at number 8. Mexico and Mongolia don't seem to be doing bad enough to be in the bottom 10, but I don't make up the stats. The others seem to be perfectly at home at the bottom. Surprise, where are the Nazis? Not in the bottom somehow. Did you think the USSR was top 5 in military? Me neither. Sparta being left off the list is surprising as well. They might have lost many more pikemen attacking Kumae than I thought. Yakusha at the top of another list. Go figure. The Zulus at the bottom of another list. Go figure. The Inuit, Australians and Boers are at another level with city settlement. Although some of the Australian cities are on one-tile islands in the Pacific, whereas the Boers and Inuit have much higher quality clay. That being said, Boer cities are much more tightly packed around their capital region. Judaism rocks and Islam struggles for relevancy. The religion overview. 2 obvious things of note: Catholicism is about to explode once contact is made regularly with South America. Additionally, Buddhism, Mk.2 and Shintoism should be on an all-out race to Australia. With Australia's number of cities combined with the Kimberley faith wonders, there is a lot to gain.
Lamborghinis.